Is a fig a fruit or a flower? I know that's what I titled the show, and I am so excited to dive in deep into the world of the fig tree today. Welcome to Tree Gong Wisdom Council, streaming live from EWN One with the Earth on Facebook and YouTube. I am your host, Keira Lani, Tree Gong Healer, and it is such a distinct pleasure to bring my special guest to you today. This fig tree that you see larger than life behind my head grows in my backyard. And I went into an exploration with this fig tree that I am distinctly tantalized to share with all of you today. But before we talk about my journey into the world of the fig, I wanted to really set some context around the fig tree today. So if you are here with me live or watching the replay, let me know if you like figs. Do you enjoy the succulent, savory, sensual, sweet, delicious, textured flavor and experience of eating a fresh fig? Let me know if you've never had a fresh fig. They're a little bit hard to get in the stores because they don't keep very well, so they have to be eaten in season at harvest time. So I'd love to hear what relationship you have with figs. Maybe you like dried figs. Dried figs are very common. Okay, um, I'm wanting to come into a little bit of the history of the fig. Last show, 2 weeks ago, we brought to you some of the oldest living organisms on the planet. And one of them was not a fig tree. However, the oldest tree known to have been planted by a human rather than by natural seeding is a 2,300-year-old sacred fig or bow tree, scientific name Ficus religiosa, that has been named Sri Mahabodhiya and stands in Anuradhapura, Sri Lanka. It was planted there in 288 BC. Pretty amazing, right? I knew that the fig tree was the oldest known cultivated food source for humans. I did not realize that they had found one quite that old, but it makes sense, right? If you don't know the story of Buddha, Gautama, the Buddha, sat under a fig tree for 49 days when he reached enlightenment. He sat there for 49 days under the fig tree, and this is when the fig tree became known as the Bodhi tree. And Bodhi means the part of you that never dies, the spirit part of you. And to become a bodhisattva is to become that spirit embodied in that enlightened state. And so the fig tree has a big piece in that. And the fig tree is also a very sensual connection to our divine feminine divinity, to our sense of aliveness, of reproduction. And so back to the story of my friend, the fig tree that lives in my backyard, the one pictured behind my head. Just going to have a sip of water here. I noticed that if I don't give my fig tree enough water, the fruit can only get ripe in the spring and the fall, and it kind of just shrivels up and falls off in the middle of the summer. And so I knew it needed lots of water in order to make its fruit. But I was wondering if there was also a pollination issue. I was wondering if, maybe I heard once in Bio 101, way back when I went to college, that figs only create fruit if they're pollinated by a wasp, which kind of turns some people off from eating them. But I thought, well, I've never noticed the wasp. It turns out this wasp is microscopic. That's why we don't notice it when we eat the figs. It really makes no difference to us. But the fig and the wasp have a symbiotic relationship. So back to my journey, because I'm getting ahead of myself here. So the wasp, um, I'm sorry, so getting away from the wasp, back to my story. So I was wondering about, well, is this true? Is it really a wasp that pollinates my fig tree? And does this wasp even live here? Is that why? Like maybe there's a scarcity of these special wasps that only will lay their eggs by pollinating a fig tree. And that's why my fig isn't making very many ripe fruits. And then I started thinking, well, gosh, where is the flower of the fig? It seems like it just pops out figs and it never has flowers. So I looked it up and it turns out, I wish I had a fresh fig here. I was really wanting to have a fresh fig here for you, but none of them on my tree are ripe today. So um, we'll just have to imagine it. I probably should have brought a picture or something, but you can look it up if you haven't actually seen the inside of a fig. If you have, you can probably go on this journey with me pretty easily without the imagery. So a fig, this luscious, delectable, sacred fruit that has the oldest relationship with human cultivars of any of the plant kingdom, is not a fruit, but rather a flower. And it is a flower that turns its petals inside. So it's a compound flower like an aster or what's another compound flower? A compound flower means it has many little flowers. The fig has many little flowers that make up each big flower that looks on the outside like a smooth bulb. And you may have seen a similar structure after you pulled the petals off of some flowers. The first one that comes into my mind is a carnation. But many flowers have this bulb, right? And the petals are on the outside. But on the fig, the petals are on the inside, and the little teeny tiny microscopic wasp has to go into the tip of the fig in order to create its nest and lay eggs and have more little teeny tiny microscopic wasps. And so if you're a strict vegan, you may choose not to eat figs for danger of ingesting wasps. And if you're not a strict vegan, know that all insects are edible and could be the most sustainable protein source for humans should we become comfortable ingesting insects as our protein source. So fun facts about the fig. I wanted to start off our show today with fun facts about the fig. And then, okay, sorry, I was just getting distracted because I thought I was missing something in the comment section. Um, oh, hi, Laura. So good to see you. Yeah, interesting stuff about the fig tree, right? I'm so glad you're with us today, Laura. And now, another interesting fact about the fig tree, it is a community tree. And we talked about this last week when we were talking about the oldest organisms on Earth, that some of the oldest trees, they send up new shoots all the time, and the old part is in the root system under the earth. And fig trees do this as well. And I brought a special guest with me today. My virtual background, you can kind of see it coming in and out with me. But this small fig tree, I rooted a piece that was sprouting up from the base of the large fig tree. And so that means even though this is a little baby fig tree, it carries the same intelligence, the same DNA, the same sense of age, if you will. When we take cuttings from a mature tree, the cutting already feels mature. So it doesn't have to get as big, for instance, before it will fruit. And this little one is actually starting to show signs that it wants to send little fig flower fruits out. I have another one that I rooted that's larger. It was too big to bring into my studio here, that is making fruit, even though it's not quite big enough to make mature fruit yet. And they just need a lot of water. So traditionally, they've lived in fertile river valleys. That's where people plant them, where they have enough water to irrigate them well. And when we bring them into drier climates like I live in, we just have to make sure that we bring in plenty of water. And so I thought I'd bring this living specimen as well as the blown up image behind my head for us to tune into the ancient wisdom of this tree that has walked the journey of civilization with humans since the dawn of time, since the first human decided to plant something that bears fruit, or in this case, flower. And I'm feeling a really powerful opportunity there. I had the distinct pleasure earlier this year to attend a Jewish ceremony for a Jewish service for the New Year of the Trees. And the fig tree is one of the trees that they especially honor because it's been with them since the biblical times. And some rabbis believe that the fruit that Eve ate of in the Genesis story may have been a fig, and the fig may contain some special knowledge. In the Bible, the knowledge spoken of is the knowledge of good and evil. And the idea that maybe this knowledge makes us somehow godlike. And so I'm going to invite you now to join me in connection with this specimen, this younger specimen, the tree that's pictured here. I got about 15 years ago, and so it also was cut from another tree. So as we go through the DNA of the tree, it's connected to these ancient trees in the womb of civilization in the Middle Eastern Indus Euphrates Valley area, where humans first show signs of civilization, where this oldest fig tree was in Sri Lanka. And all people have been walking with this genetic connection ever since. So I invite you into an experiential exploration with me of what is available to us when we drop into connection with this tree, with the mother and child who are really one being. So breathe with me and send your awareness deep into the roots of your being. Imagine these roots are connecting you through the ground of your being to your ancestors and your ancestors' ancestors, all the way back to the ancestral humans that the entire global family shares a connection with. If we go far enough back through our ancestral roots, we will connect with the ancient people who lived in balance with the land, in harmony and communication with nature. As you connect with this part of your DNA, send out these connecting tendrils to connect with the fig tree in the same way, back through the ancestral lineage, all the way to that most ancient Bodhi tree that was planted 2,300 years ago, back to the tree that Gautama Buddha sat under for 49 days, back to the Garden of Eden, where the fig may have imparted knowledge to Adam and Eve and offered her glorious large leaves as clothing, which sounds a bit uncomfortable, to be quite honest. Oh, I'm sensing, the first thing I'm sensing in this connection is a willingness to be of service, an offering of this part of herself. One of my dear friends has a personal experience of a fig tree offering her a living branch. And this is how giving this tree is. This tree is infinitely giving. And what I'm hearing from the fig is this is because we know we are all one. To give to you is not to give myself away, but to nourish a part of me that is vital to my existence. Fig is inviting you into this level of consciousness in the way that you view yourself and the world. Yourself as the individual is experiencing this unique and rare experience of being a human. And yourself as a whole being is not separate from the fig, is not separate from the other. And this is bringing in a deeper awareness of the way that we view immunity and protection of ourself from disharmony, dis-ease, dysfunction. Because when we look at ourself as a part of the whole, instead of a separate individual, then suddenly we see all of the sustenance that is available to us and really feel what we've been told, that everything we need is right here with us. When I planned this show, I saw fig bringing a message of joyful abundance. And that message is still coming through really strongly, but this deeper message underlying of how abundance is true because we are all enjoying it together. Abundance is not something we can attain by taking it or keeping it for ourselves. Abundance is something that there is always more and more of, the more we give to others. Because in truth, there is no other. There is only the one, the unity. And so to build your immunity, to protect your individual experience, tune into the unity, the shared, non-dualistic experience. What a deep, powerful message. Thank you, beautiful Fig, for connecting us, for reconnecting us to this deeper truth of being that we all share, whether our form is human or fig or hawk flying through the sky or whale swimming in the ocean or microscopic insect. We all are a part of this greater whole. And when we see ourselves that way, when we truly experience this truth, we will create sustainable reality for all. We will all not only survive, but thrive in abundance and joy. Thank you, Laura. I'm so glad that you were here to receive this message live. And I'm hearing a special message for you, dear soul, coming through from the fig tree, because right now the fig is looking at you through my eyes and seeing what a precious golden energy you bring. This is how she's showing you to me, as a golden being of light, an angel emanating. It's not gold like the metal gold, it's gold like honey, like sweetness just oozing from you. And gosh, if anyone knows about oozing sweetness, it would be the fig. And so the fig is really inviting you, Laura, and anyone who's listening. This is, if you are resonating with this message, it's also for you, but it's a special message for Laura to really taste the sweetness that you bring to life. Yes, the sweetness of life, the savor all the flavors of all the different manifestations of life, and then really taste that nectar. The nectar of the gods as it expresses through you is unique, precious, and rare. So when we really find this balance of dissolving into the one, and then truly, with all our senses, appreciating the unique flavor that our manifestation brings to that greater experience, this is when magic happens. Really feeling the magic that is channeling through this time that we're spending here together today. And so whether you're here with me live or on the replay, you are an amazing blessing to this planet. Keep shining your light. Keep drinking the nectar of the universe. Keep your eyes open wide to receive all of the beauty. And open your heart, even through times of sadness, of grief, and of pain. to experience the true joy of being and the beauty that you are. Thank you, Laura, for receiving that. It's so beautiful to have this opportunity to witness that. So we will be back next week here on EWN One with the Earth with an exploration of a portal practice to be announced. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be back with another amazing guest from the plant kingdom for Tree Gong Wisdom Council. I am your host, Keira Lani, Tree Gong healer, and I am here on EWN One with the Earth, live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And be sure to catch all of the other amazing presenters on EWN One with the Earth and all of the Enlightened World Network channels. We, as this collective of healers and light workers, are here in service to you, that we all may rise together through these challenges of our times into a new age of peace, abundance, and joy for all sentient beings. Until next time, and make sure you also follow me over on Keira Lani, Tree Gong Healer on Facebook and YouTube, and Tree Gong Healer on Instagram and Twitter. Tweet, tweet, tweet. All right, my dear ones, such a pleasure to be with you today and every time. Until we meet again, so much love. You deserve all the love, all the light, all the abundance in the universe.